Since the COVID-19 lockdown, the subject of remote work has been a hot topic for employee and employers alike. Having to adjust to uncertainty and necessity became essential as the way many of us work began to shift into something else completely. As the dust from COVID-19 began to settle, many workers had trouble getting back into the office and back into a former way of life. A leap in technology has opened the door for Americans to work remotely and has also made possible a new degree in surveillance of employees used by cautious employers. Society has changed greatly in America throughout recent generations, as the ways in which we work have progressed into something unrecognizable to those who made possible the economic boom in World War II America. Looking back into America's past gives us a better understanding into what changes have been made to the American worker's daily routine, and also what changes can be made to further improve the quality of life and also the product's quality. As society evolves, so does the economy and the progression in the way in which we work. My name is John Edwards, and I would like to discuss with you the benefits and problems with remote work for employees and employers. Both sides have a lot of passion on the subject, but what are the motives? Is remote work the answer to the future of American workers, or just a hiccup caused by an extreme need for a temporary adjustment to the way in which we work? To better understand why remote work is such an important and impactful subject for Americans, we should look at both sides of the story and try to make a better and more objective decision.
To become the absolute best place to work, communication and collaboration will be important, so we need to be working side by side. That is why it is critical that we are all present in our offices. That was a way of saying that beginning in June, all Yahoo employees working at home will be required to work in the Yahoo office or leave the company. Now, there's two ways to look at this decision. One, Marissa Mayer needs to cut Yahoo's staff, and this is a good way to clear out people who literally and figuratively don't want to be there. And two, Mayer genuinely believes her employees will be more productive at work, not at home. And that is the point that has caused the most controversy. About 10% of American workers regularly work from home at least one day a week. And all day today, analysts and reporters and bloggers have been taking sides over Mayer's decision. It's a decision that, if it spreads, could affect programmers, operators, and most prominently, work-at-home moms and dads.
As you may have noticed from the previous slide, that paper and that story was from 2013. So the fight for being able to work at home remotely is nothing new and nothing caused by COVID. But a big concern for employers is productivity and the removal of any distractions that may take away from an employee conducting their work well. But does the office truly have less distractions than working from home? That young child in the image could easily be replaced with a coworker with an overly outgoing personality. Most who work in offices too deal with distractions, but with the distractions in both places, why is coming to the office so paramount to some employers? Are remote workers just not effective enough on their own? Is there a better option? In considering these questions, one should analyze the effectiveness on remote employees and focus on the distractions they may face from working at home. Are the employees solely responsible for their effectiveness, or can other forces cause problems? Working from home is not a new concept, but one that has become very popular over the past few years. But at a time of necessity, employers thought being able to work from home was needed, but why not now? COVID made many realize that working from home made them happier and displayed positive effects. Remote work also creates an opportunity to those who are unable to travel to a brick and mortar building daily for work to thrive in an office environment. Working from home may be vital to those in the future also who are unable to retire. Adding more workers to the economy also helps greatly, and remote work makes this indeed possible.
There's a number of folks who can only work if they're allowed to work from home. So we see in the data that employment of folks with a disability, people looking after young kids, folks close to retirement has been surging post-pandemic. And this is, hundreds of thousands of millions of people literally who can work. And if they're working, they're paying taxes, providing goods and services for the rest of us. And that's a win-win. So actually, I think these are typically, kind of older in their career CEOs, typically men, if you look in the data, who are very against work from home. They're judging it on their experience. That might have been right 20, 30 years ago, but in 2025, it's actually good for the economy.
remote work can indeed add more people to the workforce and improve the economy. We see a positive effect there, but how has a rise in remote work shown change in the environment? During COVID lockdown, many did not drive to work. The result of this was a world of less humans traveling. This showed a positive effect on the planet itself. Harmful gases expelled from our vehicles were being curbed by underuse of transportation. The world certainly showed improvement during lockdown. The images that you are seeing right now are from New Delhi, India. The image on the right shows a bit of the air pollution, and the image on the left shows the cause. By March 24th, New Delhi, India was in lockdown. By March 25th, we can already see a drastic improvement in air quality. Just by not having so many drivers on the road for one day showed a drastic improvement in air quality. This is something that can also benefit us on the other side of the world. Here in Georgia, we deal with the same issues in air quality, but not close to the same levels as New Delhi, India. More remote workers here would improve traffic in Atlanta, and the effect would improve air quality overall. Less drivers would also mean less cars on the road and lesser chance of being in a wreck. There are certainly positive effects of remote work on the environment and for the short and long term. There are also some noticeable drawbacks that some experienced during lockdown. Less people occupying the streets means less business. If more transition to working from home, some service businesses may see a negative effect. The overall improvement for the environment showed that working from home may be effective for both personal happiness for employees and gives us a chance to hand over a healthy planet to our children. Employers have a different opinion on the matter. Some clearly are very supportive of their employees working from home, but others are dragging their feet. While there may be positives to highlight, on the other side of the coin too, has a strong opinion on the matter. Some employers may view remote working completely different than their employees. Trust is a big issue, and this article from Forbes shows why. The data provided by Forbes displays remote work being a big issue. There are certainly conflicting reports, but the article does bring up good points in distraction. Employers have every right to care about their performance of their workers. If employees are not doing their work effectively, the business can greatly suffer. The stats paint a picture that many remote workers perhaps use their work time for personal time. Some CEOs may get the impression that workers are treating their remote work like snow days. But what are employers doing to ensure the employees are doing their part? Keep an eye on production is key, but what steps are being taken, and are they too intrusive?
Many companies that existed pre-pandemic have already developed software to track employees in a variety of ways. There's ProtoScore, Hubstaff, Interguard, Time Doctor, Terramind, VeryClock, Transparent Business, and many others. ProtoScore alone has seen a 600% uptick in interest from prospective customers since COVID-19. Recently, CNBC's Eric Chemi spoke with its CEO.
We take a number of data points, be it a CRM tool that they're currently using, a phone system like a Vonage, an email system, it could be G Suite or Microsoft 365. We aggregate all those data points in a real-time proprietary dashboard that provides them a weighted score. We record and transcribe all your phone calls.
Well, everything I say on the phone
Is transcribed. So we
is
now
recorded.
all of it is recorded. We use AI tools to massage that into a real-time score that you see, as does your boss and the CEO and the VP of sales and the chief revenue officer. Everyone is seeing the productivity. Every morning you come to your desk, you have an email from us. You have your productivity score, your proto scores on the first line of the email. Your score yesterday for proto score was 74. Your colleagues were 90. They've done more. And it's a tool that you could gauge yourself against your peers.
Employers are rightfully keeping tabs on their workers, but perhaps their actions are leading to issues. Many do not function well with a person peering over their shoulder as they work. Although the company has every right to be intrusive on company time, maybe a softer approach would curb the burnout and unwanted stressors. Employers seem very concerned about the time spent by working employees. Perhaps a more results-driven approach would work better. Feeling a sense of accomplishment may be more rewarding than counting on the hours until work ends. The potential disadvantages of remote work for businesses seem to be mostly concerned with communication issues and trust. Some CEOs of major companies are strongly against remote work, and many of them see the entire thing as just unfair. Being the head of a major company is most likely very, very stressful, and unknowns are very unwelcomed. Not knowing if an employee is doing enough to earn their pay has certainly resonated with many business owners over time.
People who drive trains have to go to work. People who work in operating theatres have to go to work. People who work in service industries like retail have to go to work, and others don't. Well, what's different? They have children. They have problems. They have issues. You deal with it.
I've had it with this kind of stuff. I've been working 7 days a week since COVID, and I come in and where's everybody else? Don't give me the work from home Friday works. I call a lot of people Friday. There's not a person to get a hold of.
But there are some exceptions, but I kind of think that the whole notion of work from home is a bit like the fake Marie Antoinette quote, "Let them eat cake." It's like really, you're going to work from home and you're going to make everyone else who made your car come work in the factory. You're going to make the people who make your food that gets delivered that they can't work from home. The people that come fix your house, they can't work from home, but you can. Does that seem morally right? It's messed up.
You see it as a moral issue?
Yes.
I mean, I see it more as
And it's a productivity issue, but it's also a moral issue.
This data shows that from 2023 to 2024, most remote workers were college graduates. If you look at the bottom right chart, you'll see that college graduates occupy over 30% of the remote workforce. The top right shows that high school educated workers only are being relied for over just 5% of the workforce. People without bachelor's degrees are absolutely hardworking people, but when hiring a person with a college degree, isn't the employer looking for someone who can handle the type of work that they can be offered at home? College is very hard. It is very puzzling that some CEOs have such little trust for people who have proven their ability. If the issue is a worker not doing enough, what is efficiency? Is it the outcome of the job or the time spent doing it? Employers are absolutely correct in expecting the best from their employees if they pay them. And this includes surveillance, because it is their time that they're paying for. But at what point is the employee's role counted a success? Is it truly a time spent on the job, or is it the outcome? For example, when a person puts gas into a car, some of the gas is lost. When we fill our tanks, we consider the fact that adding gas to the car makes the car go, but a good percentage of what the money is spent on is completely wasted. Like in a remote work situation, there are forces that keep a car from running at 100% efficiency. We ignore these forces, however, to focus solely on the outcome of the car moving. Things like wheels can hurt your miles per gallon, wind resistance, a lot can happen. But we choose to forget those things to focus on the result. And people are not machines, and if a car is not able to run at 100% efficiency and work as needed, maybe people are not able to either. Maybe something is not working correctly at the moment.
People do their best when they're given their goals, they're given the tools to meet their goals, and they're set on their way.
There are ways in which the psychological pressures of being watched can actually impair productivity.
You want to say to an employer, have you thought about talking to your workers? Like asking them what's going on, like having a discussion, because often, it's that kind of genuine engagement that is what makes everybody's experience of work better.
Data generally shows that employees are actually more productive when they work from home because they usually start earlier and they work later.
Henry Ford was the architect of the 5-day, 40-hour work week. Ford created many jobs and turned America into an auto industry powerhouse. His 40-hour work week made possible a great amount of work for Americans and really made many jobs. Employees were grateful to be able to have a steady paycheck and a solid rate of $5 an hour. Ford was not welcoming of unions, however, but was said to care about his employees. Henry Ford revolutionized the way in which we work in America. His creation of the 40-hour, 5-day work week was due to necessity of competition, but proved to be wildly successful. But during today's businesses, a lot has changed. Technology has come a long way, and so has different rights and also different people in workforces. But currently there's still issues, and a lot can happen in business that can turn off employees and maybe cause extra stressors. Having a poor culture or creating an environment of anxiety hurts productivity, absolutely. Given a good direction, proper communication, and trust, remote work does have good potential to be a good investment for businesses. Costs could be lowered by not having to pay for supplies that employees need, not having to pay for a brick and mortar building. A change in approach to remote working is certainly a good idea, but perhaps remote work isn't the answer to all of our problems. Maybe we need to change the way Americans work altogether. Not all of us are able to work from home. It just is not possible. But a new approach to this subject seems necessary. Many countries around the world are experimenting with a 4-day work week. Some U.S. states are experimenting as well, but the country is not at a federal level. The 4-day work week has shown to be effective in studies. The majority of workers were better rested and happier in their personal lives. Creating a healthy home balance with work seemed to have led up to a positive outcome on efficiency. Microsoft Japan, as you can see, had an almost 40% rise in productivity during the 4-day work week experiment, with 78% of these workers claimed that they were less stressed. 63% were able to retain and attract talent advertising the 4-day work week. While purely remote work has some concerns to some, the 4-day work week has shown some positive results.
Crowdfunding platform Kickstarter went from 5 to 4 days last year, hoping to offer a better work-life balance and retain valuable employees. Surprise! The company says productivity increased, employees better rested and more engaged.
People are able to spend time with their families and spend time doing things they love, and they're happier at work and better at work as a result.
Similar findings from a large study involving 61 British companies that went to 4-day, 32-hour weeks last year. 92% say they're sticking with 4 days. 71% reported employees were less stressed and burned out, most saying they're better able to balance home and family commitments, while company revenues actually increased by 35% on average.
A lot has changed since Henry Ford introduced us to the 5-day, 40-hour work week. Technology has given us a wonderful gift in the ability to have workers perform their duties at home. Many of whom were once not able to join the workforce have now been given the ability to do so. In the future, those who may not have enough for retirement are now able to work from home in a much easier way. While working from home may not be the ideal solution to all of our problems, perhaps it could be a transition to a more effective way to work. A way with less hours, less stress, and more productivity. In the modern world, we currently deal with distractions unheard of in the past. While distractions happen at home, they also reside in the workplace. Keeping tabs on employees is important, but the extreme approaches of some do need to lessen to not become more of a distraction. If a supervisor was actively watching the stock footage of this woman pretending to work, she would later find herself in a position of potential shaming and punishment. But picking battles is important though, and too much force can repel workers and hurt efficiency. Burnout is a big problem, and keeping a more relaxed approach to surveillance would make work much less stressful. While we all certainly cannot work from home, we could work in a way that allows us more time for our families and personal lives. If productivity is important, a change from the status quo seems necessary. Do you work remotely, or have you ever worked remotely? What were your experiences? If you have never worked remotely, would you like to try? Why exactly are you interested? Do you think you could be productive working at home? Would you find yourself being distracted more at home or maybe at the office? After a discussion on remote work, the 4-day work week, and the 5-day work week, which do you prefer? And what do you think would be the best way forward for the American worker?